The American used car market is imploding before our eyes. CarMax, the nation's largest retailer of pre-owned vehicles, has unleashed a series of strategic moves in early 2025 that have devastated the traditional dealership model. Independent dealers and franchise used car departments across the country are reporting catastrophic drops in profit margins, unprecedented inventory devaluation, and customer traffic evaporating overnight. This isn't typical market competition, it's an extinction-level event for thousands of dealerships. Fresh data from Cox Automotive shows that in the first quarter of 2025, traditional dealership used car profits have plummeted by 58% compared to Q1 2024. Average days to turn has ballooned from 38 days to 67 days nationwide. Most alarming is the 42% decline in consumer foot traffic at independent and franchise dealer used car operations in markets where CarMax has implemented its new strategies. Industry insiders are using terms like bloodbath and market collapse in dealer forums and association meetings. You might assume this disruption is simply about CarMax slashing prices to gain market share, the standard corporate playbook for a dominant player. But that superficial explanation misses the revolutionary transformation occurring. What CarMax has actually done is completely reimagine the entire used car acquisition, reconditioning, financing, and selling process using artificial intelligence and financial engineering that traditional dealers simply cannot replicate. What's even more surprising is that these changes weren't primarily designed to destroy competitors. They emerged from CarMax's own existential crisis in late 2023 when the company faced serious threats from online disruptors and declining margins. The devastation of traditional dealerships is essentially collateral damage from CarMax's own fight for survival, a battle that has transformed not just the company, but the entire industry. What exactly has CarMax done in 2025 that's causing this market upheaval? Why are traditional dealers unable to respond effectively? And what does this mean for consumers, the auto industry, and the thousands of dealerships fighting to survive? Let's dive deep into the data and strategies to understand what's really happening in this industry-wide transformation. The market context: 2025's perfect storm. To understand the magnitude of CarMax's market disruption, we need to examine the unique market conditions that set the stage for this upheaval. The used car market in early 2025 was already facing significant challenges before CarMax's moves. Interest rates remain elevated at 5.75% after the Federal Reserve's modest cuts in late 2024. Inflation has cooled but still erodes consumer purchasing power. New vehicle prices continue hovering near record highs, with the average new car transaction price reaching $52,780 in March 2025, according to Kelley Blue Book data. These factors initially seemed positive for the used car market as consumers priced out of new vehicles turned to pre-owned options. However, this created intense competition among dealers for quality inventory, driving up acquisition costs at wholesale auctions. The Manheim Used Vehicle Value Index shows wholesale prices increased 7.3% in Q4 2024 before suddenly reversing course in February 2025, creating a precarious situation for dealers who had purchased inventory at peak prices. This volatile environment created the perfect conditions for CarMax's market disruption. With dealers already operating on thin margins and struggling with inventory management, the industry was uniquely vulnerable to a systemic shock. Strategy number 1: CarMax's AI-powered max price system. The first and most visible component of CarMax's market disruption is its revolutionary new pricing system. Officially branded as Max Price but referred to by shell-shocked dealers as the Terminator. Traditional dealerships typically rely on comparative market analysis tools to set prices, evaluating similar vehicles in their region and adding target profit margins based on perceived demand. This reactive approach involves periodic manual adjustments, usually weekly or bi-weekly. In January 2025, CarMax fully deployed its proprietary AI pricing algorithm across all 250-plus locations nationwide. This system doesn't just set static prices, it dynamically adjusts them in real time based on over 140 variables, including minute-by-minute inventory fluctuations across all retailers in a market. The system analyzes vehicle-specific depreciation patterns based on 17 million historical transactions. It tracks consumer search behaviors on not just CarMax's platform, but aggregator sites like AutoTrader and Cars.com. It even considers regional economic indicators down to the zip code level. Most disruptively, the system optimizes not for maximum profit per unit, but for optimal total return across CarMax's entire portfolio. This allows the company to strategically take losses on certain vehicles to gain market share while making higher margins on others. A sophisticated approach that traditional dealers simply cannot match. Recent data from industry analyst firm J.D. Power reveals the impact. CarMax's average days to turn has decreased by 34% since implementing max price, while maintaining gross profit per unit within 7% of previous levels. This translates to significantly higher annual inventory turns and return on investment despite slightly lower per-vehicle profits. A dealer principal in Arizona shared, "They'll undercut us by $3,000 on a popular model we have in stock, then price similar vehicles on their lot $1,500 above market once we're gone. By the time we adjust our pricing strategy, they've already moved on to the next target. It's like fighting a chess grandmaster who's always 10 moves ahead." Strategy number 2, the financial services revolution. The second component of CarMax's market disruption involves a complete reinvention of used car financing. Historically a primary profit center for dealerships, traditional dealers rely heavily on finance reserve, the markup they add to lender interest rates, and back-end products like extended warranties to generate F&I profit. These products typically account for 30 to 45% of a dealership's total profit on used vehicles. In March 2025, CarMax rolled out its transparent financing platform, eliminating traditional finance reserve in favor of flat-fee compensation from lending partners. But the true innovation lies in how financing options are presented to customers. Rather than the traditional F&I office experience where customers negotiate with a finance manager, CarMax now offers a digital financing marketplace where customers can compare personalized offers from over 35 lenders simultaneously. They can see the exact impact of different terms, down payments, and structures. They can add or remove protection products with transparent pricing, and they can complete the entire financing process digitally or with assistance. Most disruptively, CarMax has introduced Max Finance Guaranteed, a program that uses the company's massive data resources to pre-approve customers for specific vehicles before they even visit a store. By analyzing credit profiles, employment verification, and purchasing patterns, the system can make firm financing offers with no surprises at closing. The results have been dramatic. According to CarMax's Q1 2025 earnings call, finance acceptance rates have increased by 31% year-over-year, while customer satisfaction with the financing process has risen by 47 points on their internal metrics. Perhaps most importantly, the average time to complete a purchase has decreased from 3.2 hours to just 49 minutes. For traditional dealers, this transformation has been devastating. A finance director at a multi-store dealer group in Texas explained, "Our F&I profit has dropped 62% in markets where we compete directly with CarMax. Customers come in pre-educated about what financing should cost and reject our traditional process. We can match their rates, but then we're selling cars with minimal back-end profit, which isn't sustainable with our cost structure." Strategy number 3, the inventory acquisition advantage. Perhaps the most devastating component of CarMax's strategy involves its revolutionary approach to inventory acquisition, completely bypassing traditional wholesale channels that dealers rely on. Traditional dealerships source the majority of their used inventory from trade-ins, auction purchases, and lease returns. This approach has become increasingly challenging as inventory quality at auctions has declined and competition has intensified. In February 2025, CarMax fully deployed its Max Offer offer system nationwide after testing it in select markets throughout 2024. This technology-driven acquisition channel allows the company to make instant purchase offers to consumers without requiring them to buy another vehicle. The genius of this approach lies in its precision. Using artificial intelligence trained on millions of transactions, CarMax can identify exactly which vehicles to target in specific markets and exactly how much to offer. The system isn't making competitive offers on all vehicles. It's strategically overpaying for specific models that fill gaps in current inventory. It targets vehicles that have historically shown rapid turn rates in specific markets. It seeks out models that meet forecasted demand based on search and browsing patterns, and it prioritizes vehicles that can be efficiently reconditioned within CarMax's system. Recent data from the company's first quarter 2025 earnings report reveals that CarMax now acquires 72% of its inventory directly from consumers, up from 40% just 2 years ago. This direct-to-consumer acquisition model provides several critical advantages. They enjoy lower acquisition costs with no auction fees or transportation expenses. They secure fresher inventory with cleaner histories and lower mileage. They benefit from more predictable supply chain management, and they gather valuable consumer data from every interaction. For traditional dealers, this shift has created a devastating inventory crisis. A used car manager from a franchise dealership in Florida explained, "CarMax is cherry-picking the best inventory directly from consumers before these vehicles ever hit the market. They're paying retail or above for cars they want, leaving less desirable inventory for auctions. When we go to auction, we're fighting over scraps and paying premium prices for mediocre inventory." Industry data confirms this trend. The average quality score of vehicles at Manheim auctions, based on age, mileage, and condition, has declined by 14% since Q1 2024, while average wholesale prices have increased by 7.3% during the same period. This combination of declining quality and rising costs has created an unsustainable situation for traditional dealers. Strategy number 4, the omni-channel experience advantage. The fourth component of CarMax's market disruption involves the seamless integration of digital and physical retail experiences, moving beyond the false choice between online and in-store that has hampered automotive retail. Traditional dealerships have struggled with digital transformation, typically treating their websites as lead generation tools that funnel customers to their physical locations. Even dealers with digital retailing tools often create disconnected experiences that force customers to restart processes when moving between channels. In January 2025, CarMax fully deployed its Max Journey platform, an integrated system that maintains perfect continuity as customers move between digital and physical interactions. The platform remembers every vehicle a customer has viewed, every question they've asked, and every preference they've expressed, creating a seamless experience regardless of how they choose to engage. Key elements of this approach include the ability to start a purchase online and continue in-store without repeating steps. Customers benefit from real-time inventory visibility, showing exactly when and where vehicles are available. Digital reservation with guaranteed pricing for up to 7 days provides peace of mind. At-home test drives with remote purchase completion eliminate unnecessary trips to the dealership. Self-service checkout kiosks in physical locations cater to customers who prefer minimal interaction. This integration extends to CarMax's workforce structure. The company has eliminated traditional sales roles in favor of customer experience guides who aren't compensated based on individual sales, but rather on team-based customer satisfaction metrics. The results have been transformative. According to CarMax's Q1 2025 financial results, 68% of customers now use a combination of digital and physical touchpoints before purchase, up from 35% in 2023. More importantly, these omni-channel customers show 27% higher satisfaction rates and 22% stronger brand loyalty than single-channel purchasers. Traditional dealerships have struggled to replicate this approach due to limitations in both technology infrastructure and organizational culture. A dealership technology consultant explained, "Most dealers are still operating with separate systems for CRM, inventory management, financing, and service. Creating a truly integrated experience requires not just new technology, but a complete organizational restructuring and culture change. It's like trying to retrofit a 1960s building to meet 2025 environmental standards. Sometimes it's easier to start from scratch." Strategy number 5, the Max Recondition System. The fifth component of CarMax's market disruption involves its revolutionary approach to vehicle reconditioning. reconditioning, transforming what was traditionally a bottleneck into a competitive advantage. Traditional dealerships typically recondition vehicles using a combination of their service departments and external vendors, with inconsistent processes that create unpredictable timelines and quality. A vehicle might sit for days or weeks awaiting parts or labor availability, creating significant holding costs. In December 2024, CarMax completed the nationwide rollout of its Max Recondition system, a manufacturing-inspired approach that has reduced the average time from acquisition to frontline ready by 74% while improving quality metrics across the board. Each CarMax reconditioning center operates like a modern manufacturing facility, with computer vision inspection systems that identify cosmetic and mechanical issues with 96% accuracy. They implement predictive parts ordering based on vehicle history and condition. They organize specialized workstations handling specific aspects of preparation. They maintain real-time tracking and workflow management, and they enforce standardized quality control protocols. Most importantly, CarMax has applied advanced logistics principles to vehicle reconditioning. Using machine learning algorithms, the system can predict exactly how long each vehicle will take to recondition before it's even purchased, allowing for precise inventory planning and resource allocation. The financial impact has been substantial. According to industry analysts, CarMax's average reconditioning cost per vehicle has decreased by 18% since implementing the system, while the average time from acquisition to frontline ready has dropped from 12 days to just 3.1 days. This efficiency creates both pricing advantages and superior inventory freshness. For traditional dealers, competing with this reconditioning efficiency is nearly impossible without massive scale. A dealer with a typical inventory of 100 to 200 vehicles cannot justify the specialized equipment, personnel, and systems required to match CarMax's turnaround times and consistency. A service director at a mid-sized dealer group summarized the challenge. "We're lucky to turn a car around in 10 days from purchase to frontline ready. CarMax is doing it in 3 days with better quality and lower costs. That's a week of holding cost and market depreciation we can't overcome. It's like comparing a local hamburger joint's kitchen to McDonald's global supply chain." The combined effect of these 5 strategic initiatives has created an increasingly desperate situation for traditional used car retailers. Fresh data from the National Automobile Dealers Association shows that average used vehicle gross profits at franchise dealerships declined from $2,340 in Q1 2024 to just $985 in Q1 2025, a staggering 58% reduction in just 12 months. For independent used car dealers, the situation is even more dire. The National Independent Automobile Dealers Association reports that 17.8% of its members have either closed, sold, or consolidated operations in the past year, the highest attrition rate ever recorded by the organization. Dealer groups are responding with increasingly desperate measures. Staff reductions have become commonplace, with average salesperson headcount down 24% year over year among surveyed dealers. Marketing budgets have been slashed by an average of 31% as dealers struggle to preserve cash flow. Inventory levels have been reduced by 27% at franchise dealers as they attempt to minimize floor plan expenses. Some larger dealer groups are attempting to pool resources to develop competitive technologies, but most lack both the capital and the data scale required to match CarMax's capabilities. The CEO of a regional dealer group with 17 locations summarized the sentiment. "We're fighting a company that spent over $1.2 billion on technology infrastructure in the past 3 years. Most dealers don't have the resources or expertise to compete on that level." The implications extend beyond just dealerships. Ancillary businesses that support traditional dealers are feeling the impact. Local repair shops that handled overflow reconditioning work report revenue declines averaging 34%. Marketing agencies specializing in automotive retail have seen client budgets cut by nearly 40%. Commercial real estate values in auto mall corridors have begun to drop as dealership consolidations increase vacant space. Banks and floor plan financing providers are also feeling the impact, with several major lenders reporting increased delinquency rates on dealer inventory loans. Some have begun tightening lending standards and reducing credit lines, further compressing dealers' ability to maintain competitive inventory levels. Here's what makes this situation truly extraordinary. CarMax didn't set out to destroy the traditional dealership model. The company was fighting for its own survival. In late 2023, CarMax faced existential threats from multiple directions. Online disruptors like Carvana and Vroom had captured significant market share with digital-first approaches. Wholesale vehicle prices were fluctuating wildly, creating inventory valuation challenges, and the company's stock had lost over 40% of its value in 12 months as investors questioned whether its brick-and-mortar approach remained viable. CarMax's transformation wasn't a predatory strategy to eliminate competition. It was a comprehensive defensive response to market forces threatening its own business model. The company essentially reimagined itself from the ground up, leveraging its scale and financial resources to execute a digital transformation at unprecedented speed. What traditional dealers are experiencing isn't a targeted attack, but rather collateral damage from CarMax's own fight for relevance. The company didn't set out to kill the used car market, it set out to survive it. This reveals the true nature of the disruption. It's not about predatory pricing or unfair advantages, it's about a fundamental evolution in consumer expectations and operational capabilities. CarMax has simply adapted faster and more completely than its competitors. The data supports this perspective. CarMax's own profit margins haven't substantially increased during this period. They've actually decreased slightly on a per-vehicle basis. What's changed is operational efficiency, customer experience metrics, and market share. The company is selling more cars at lower margins but with higher total returns due to increased velocity and reduced costs. This creates an uncomfortable reality for traditional dealers. There is no simple counter strategy. Matching CarMax's pricing alone won't solve the problem because the advantage isn't just price, it's a completely reimagined business model optimized for today's consumer expectations. The disruption CarMax has unleashed on the used car market isn't just another competitive challenge, it's a paradigm shift that has fundamentally changed what's possible in automotive retail. Traditional dealerships aren't just losing market share, they're witnessing the obsolescence of a business model that has remained largely unchanged for decades. This isn't simply about one company outcompeting others, it's about an entire industry reaching an inflection point where digital transformation, data science, and consumer expectations have converged to create a new market reality. CarMax didn't set out to kill the used car market, it set out to reinvent it in order to survive. The panic spreading through traditional dealerships is the sound of an industry realizing that incremental changes won't be enough to remain relevant. The future of used car sales won't be found in better negotiation tactics or flashier showrooms. It will be built on algorithmic pricing, transparent financing, efficient operations, and seamless customer experiences. Dealers that cannot rapidly adapt to this new reality face an increasingly uncertain future. Have you purchased a used car recently? Did you shop at CarMax or a traditional dealership? I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments below. And if you're a car dealer or work in the automotive industry, what changes are you seeing firsthand? Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on the American auto industry that you won't get anywhere else. The transformation we're witnessing is just beginning, and I'll be here to break down what it means for buyers, sellers, and everyone in between.